big vision. We want to contribute to the well-being of children with rare diseases, children that even today are very often destined to an early death because medicine does not know the origin of the disease, nor does medicine have good answers how to treat those children. And because we want to make an impact here, we have combined many research groups and clinicians all over the world in an effort to really establish international and interdisciplinary networks, all aiming to help children with those rare diseases.
As part of that consortium, we have brought together a large number of founding investigators around the world. And together, we are working with the DAD Network and the Care for Rare IBD Alliance to collectively figure out the causes of very early onset IBD and to develop therapies. There are a lot of countries that do not have as much experience identifying the causes of rare diseases, and we hope with this network that we'll be able to perhaps shed some light to these other countries.
It's an international network, so everyone brings his own ideas, his own patient, his own samples. We can see together in a very cooperative way. More than the network, we are friends, so it's very easy to exchange ideas and to help each other. We need to gather all efforts in order to be more effective for the benefit of our patients.
What makes the research for rare diseases and personalized medicine so special are the people involved. I think all the people are very committed to understanding these patients, and it really takes the patients and the commitment to understand diseases and develop new therapies.
We have obtained this funding by the German Academic Exchange Service, which allows us now to have people travel, which allows us to educate students, to educate young physicians so that they can join in, that they acquire the necessary skills, not only to diagnose children with rare diseases, but to develop novel therapeutic ideas.
The fellows, which are from a partner institution, are a very important bridge between our laboratories, our hospital, and their institute. There is a big transfer and exchange of knowledge on the patient's conditions and on the current treatment of the patient, so that when the fellow comes to our lab, he can really work with samples and with his patients and generate new data and new knowledge, which in the end will be applicable to the patient, and this is the principle of from discovery to cure and translational medicine.
I'm a medical doctor from Turkey. I see many patients in pediatrics departments. These children are sick and they usually have rare sicknesses, so we call them like orphans of the medicine. And I just wanted to understand the pathophysiological mechanisms of their diseases. So I searched in internet, and I also talked with my supervisors in Turkey, and they advised me to come here and to do some research here, because in here we are working on some candidate genes which can cause these kind of diseases, especially for blood and immunological diseases. And that's why I am here.
Our research depends on collaborations. If you work for on rare diseases, there are sometimes very little patients in the world. So it's important to connect to other researchers, to build a network, an international network, and exchange that way. Of course, not only patients, but also ideas and also scientists. And this consortium, this network, really carries that idea.
So I come here. I have the opportunity to collaborate with Professor Kai's lab, and then I get get involved in this research fellowship.
I'm doing every day some experiment, for example, PCR and cell culture and real-time PCR, qPCR, and fax and something like this. Yeah.
We have invited Razieh for a 6-month internship to our laboratory. We are currently working with 6 international PhD students on the topic of very early onset IBD in our lab. And within this team, together with Professor Klein and me, we are trying to provide Razieh with a practical training.
Through the support by the network, I had the great opportunity to visit Boston Children's Hospital and the pediatric intensive care unit there, which resembles our unit. And so I could learn much about structure at Boston Children's, which is a world-known hospital structure and organization at the intensive care unit, as well as touching a little bit clinical research and even basic research.